What's up, guys? Today I've got a great video for you. It's an interview with Ronnie Foster, who's an incredible artist, an organ player, producer, and played with some incredible people and has some incredible stories. So have a listen, hope you guys enjoy. So before we get started, I just wanted to remind you about the Artflix Kickstarter. So it's an app for streaming performances where the artists receive 100% of the ticket revenue. They receive this money directly without the need of any middlemen. Through our system, the artists get paid directly for their art. If you want any more information, please click on the links below and find out. So we're currently in a fundraising stage. We're trying to raise 3,000 francs through Kickstarter. Find the links in the bottom. And so with that 3,000 francs, we're planning to create the MVP, the minimum viable product, and get started on getting this app off the ground. Thanks a lot. All the best. Over and out. So what's up, guys? We're here with Ronnie Foster.
Hey, guys.
Thanks a lot for coming here tonight for the interview.
No problem.
So, firstly, well, thanks for coming. Yeah, it's really great that you're here.
Yeah.
So, when did you first realize that you wanted to be a musician?
4.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of when I started.
You come from a musical family?
No, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It just so happened I was raised basically by my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a piano there in the house, and I just sat down there and I kind of got it. And I used to pretend that I was a classical pianist, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, it wasn't anything classical
Yeah.
about what I was doing. I just kind of, and as time went on,
Mm-hmm.
I started hearing things and
Yeah.
feeling things. So I feel that I was just, blessed with a gift,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kept
Yeah.
going on. I got to school, and there was a drummer, a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little band we used to play in like freshman years,
Mm-hmm.
No, even earlier than that.
Yeah.
It was. It was like earlier than that, but we had this thing called the Duo Brothers.
Nice,
And
yeah.
It was just 2 of us, and we only knew 2 songs. So we play Take 5,
Mm-hmm.
where he would take a drum solo.
Nice, yeah.
And then there was a little funky tune that I wrote,
Mm-hmm.
and there was the 2 songs we
nice,
played
though.
all the time. So anyway, that that kind of went on, and then what happened was, I was about 11, 12ish.
Mm-hmm.
His mother worked at a club, and it was normal. They had a matinee and a jam session on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we weren't allowed to go in the club, but because she worked there,
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Oh, I'm going to bring you guys down. You guys can sit in on the jam sessions." Oh, okay. And I said, "Oh, they got a piano there?" She said, "Oh, yeah."
Mm-hmm.
So I get there, and I said, "Where's the piano?" There was an organ there.
Wow, yeah.
And I go like, I said, "Okay, well, whatever."
Let's give it a try.
So
Yeah.
I jumped on it, and boy, was I hooked,
Mm-hmm.
like immediately.
Yeah.
Right? So I used to go downtown to the Hammond store in Buffalo. That's where I'm from,
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, New York. And I paid 50 cents for a half an hour
Wow, yeah.
to sit. And,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in a room with B3s, C3s,
Mm-hmm.
all of them, all the time. So I just choose whatever one
Nice,
was great,
yeah.
right? And I started going so much,
Mm-hmm.
the guy said, "I tell you what, you pay your first 50 cents. If nobody else comes in, you just play as long as
nice.
you want," right? That
Yeah.
was very cool, right? So anyway, so that started that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously a big fan of Jimmy Smith.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had his records. And so he was coming into town.
Mm-hmm.
And this club owner I knew, was a club called the Royal Arms in Buffalo, where everybody came through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the,
Yeah.
I saw everybody. And he would always, "Okay, I'm going to bring you in, but you have to stay in this corner
Mm-hmm.
so nobody can see you," like 11, 12, So Jimmy was coming in. And I called up. I said, Joe. I said, where's Jimmy staying? He says, oh, at this hotel, right? It was. So I called the hotel. And this was the phone call, which is still funny to me. So call up. Yeah, can I Mr. Jimmy Smith's room, please? You know. So here's Jimmy. Jimmy picks up. Hello. You know, his voice. I said, oh, Mr. Smith. I said, my name is Ronnie Foster. I'm a little young organ player around here. You got to show me something. He said, boy, when you hear me play, you won't want to play anymore. And I said, no, Mr. Smith, I really love to play. Boy, you're not listening to me. When you hear me play, you're going to want to throw your organ away. I'm going like, no, you don't understand. I really love to play. So he says, oh, okay. What time you get out of school? I said, 3 o'clock. He says, well, you meet me down the club. He wanted to know how hungry
exactly.
I was.
Yeah.
He was,
putting up the barrier for you.
Right, he just said, okay, let's see, And then that started the whole thing. And then every time he was in town, because they come in for a week. Yeah. And every time he come in, I'm with him,
Nice, yeah.
Staying up late, going to school the next day. And one time I was 14, and George Benson, big fan of Jimmy's. He was playing the next week. So George came in a night early to catch Jimmy's set. So after the set, we're all in the back, and Jimmy goes, George, meet a little young organ player, Ronnie Foster. And I was 14, hey, George, And then George and I started hanging out, cool, right? Yeah, so that started our relationship, And then a year later, I was playing with George when I was 15 on weekends.
Wow.
Because Lonnie Smith, who is from Buffalo, is another.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Lucky Peterson, too.
Oh, yeah, cool, yeah.
So
a lot of you guys there.
Yeah, I just saw Lucky in Paris.
Nice, yeah.
But, so I did that for a while, and then this was a funny thing. This was later. I was probably, 20-ish. Okay, and this still freaks me out a little bit, is that in 70, when I was 20, right, there were no cell phones or anything like that. So I'm walking down the street in my hometown, and somebody comes up, Ronnie, you got to go home, Stanley Turntine's trying to get a hold of you. Well, okay.
The message is gone.
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy, right? To this day, I still don't, I'm just walking around, hey, Ronnie, get home, because Stanley's trying. Okay, so I go and I call Stanley, and because Benny was asking me about Shirley Scott, Ari Rhoda.
Yeah.
They were married, for a while. So they had got into a fight. And so he says, yeah, Ronnie, I need you up here right away. So they flew me up, and I did 2 nights with him in New Jersey. Okay. And then a friend of mine, another organ player from my hometown, was staying in Harlem. So he
put you up.
He put me up and staying there, and Stanley would call, oh, we got a gig in Chicago this week. I'll call you back and let you know I'm waiting to hear from the club owner. This is old school.
Yeah.
Really old school. So nothing, didn't hear anything, and the next day, oh, don't worry, I got it, I'm waiting. Now, another freaky thing. So I'm staying there at the place, there's a knock on the door. I go to the door and open the door. Guess who's standing at the door? Grant Green. Right. Grant says, Ronnie? I said, yeah. He said, yeah, come with me. And that was that. I mean, what was I supposed to say? No.
Yeah, of course.
And that started that whole thing, where we recorded. I did my first recording ever. I mean, the live recording was alive with Grant Green.
Nice,
and, and I told you, George is a big fan of Grant. And, George and I were still in contact. And he says, oh, well, you're going to use my organ. So he had an organ. So we went up to his house, picked up his organ, and that's the organ I used on that record. And then after that, the night that we finished, Francis Wolff, who was one of the founders of Blue Note, as Grant was on Blue Note. He says, Ronnie, how would you like to have a deal with Blue Note? You know, and I said, yeah. You know, so anyway, time went on, and what had happened was Francis passed away in the interim after we did that record. So then Blue Note was kind of floating. They had to find some new guy to take over, and that happened to be Dr. George Butler. And so I called him. I said, hey, George, you know, I got offered a deal with Francis, you know, offered me a deal and so on and so on. He said, oh, where are you playing? I said, oh, at the time I was in Detroit with my trio. He said, okay, I'm going to fly out and check you out, you know. He came out, oh, yeah, he loved it, you know. So that's how the first album, Two-Headed Freak,
okay, nice, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first album. I did 5 for, let me see, wait a minute. It was that, Sweet Revival, Cheshire Cat, Live at Montreux, and then I did 2 albums for Columbia, because George left Blue Note and he went to Columbia and he brought me over to so it was this funny thing, you know what I mean? Just you know, I feel blessed with all that.
Yeah,
you know
for
I mean?
sure.
It's like, you know, it's crazy. And, you know, I met all those guys at a young age. I met Herbie when I was 13.
Wow.
And he was with the group. It was Miles, Wayne, Ron, and Tony. Right? Yeah. And that was the group. Because I used to take my melodica around and I'd say, I was in the back, that same club, because that was the club where everybody came, right? So
that was the hang.
Yeah, so I went in the back and I had my little melodica. And I said, oh, Herbie, I said, you know, I play organ, and so I said, sometimes I get tired of the same turnaround. You know what I mean? And I said, you got any, you know, for blues? And he said, oh, yeah, let me, I said, give me that. You know, he played this thing, right? Now, the funny thing is, it was a cool thing. Actually, it's in one of the songs.
Oh, yeah, cool,
But then, you know, Herbie and I, we were label mates later on, Columbia and stuff, and we kept in touch and had a friendship, you know, and all that. So one time I was at his house, and you know, he had a little wine, so he had a little buzz going on. I said, hey, Herbie, you remember when we first met, you showed me this little turnaround for the blue? He said, yeah, I bet you're still using it too. And I said, yes, I am. Yeah, but it was great. I was very fortunate. I mean, Roy Ayers used to come, because the hotel right next door had a piano down in the thing. So Roy showed me, because he's playing like he's playing vibes, you know. And he would show me stuff, and I met everybody. Yeah, you know, it's. I was very fortunate, and that set the bar very high.
Of course, yeah.
For me, you know, to be around those people, because I say to this moment, I said, you can hear a guy that's a great player, and that's good, but when you hear a master, it's another, it affects you completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure,
know, because they're the ones that set the table for us to play.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because
without them, to use,
yeah, right. You know what I mean? And they created all that. It's just like Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy is the king. You know, it's just, I mean, what he did with that.
Yeah.
He went in a shed. Went in the shed for, I don't know, what, couple of weeks
or
whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
And do you know how many sounds that thing can make? It was like the first synthesizer.
Incredible, yeah.
He came out, and now those stops that everybody uses.
It's incredible. I didn't know.
Yeah, think about that. They're still using it.
Yeah, of course.
Today. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From jazz to blues to rock.
Yeah, throughout. Right. Yeah.
In some kind of form. Yeah. So, yeah, all that stuff is just, you know, you got to respect the masters.
Yeah, of course.
People, you know, they get hyped up on, you know, and I think a lot of problems I have now is that a lot with a lot of the young players is they're kind of hung up on speed and flash.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
As if that's all that matters.
Yeah,
just
that all.
like,
Yeah.
It's how you see the same thing with guitarists.
Right. Yeah.
Just trying to be faster instead of, you know, Jimi Hendrix isn't the fastest guitarist.
Right, but man, oh my God. Yeah, because when I always say, notes are not just notes. they're supposed to come. It comes from here to whatever you're doing, right? And no note should be void of emotion. You know, a note void of emotion equals 0.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and there's a funny story. Jimmy Smith, you know, the master back in the day when he was at his height. You know, he had the target on his back. So
Of course.
guys
Yeah.
going, I'm going to go get Jimmy. You
Yeah.
know? So there was this guy, Winston Walls. He was a great player. He played great. And he went in and, you know, Jimmy brought him up and played. He did a bass pedal solo with his hands. He was like a real strong guy, you know, and that takes like, man, just tore the place up, right?
That's cool, yeah.
And then Jimmy goes back up, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Winston Walls, you know. And then Jimmy sits down and he plays a ballad. Done.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
You don't need to be pushing at those extremes
right,
to be
all the time.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good. People often talk about the youth as in a stupider way than you just did there. You know, that it's there is good stuff that is brought out by the kids as well. So in fact, talking about that, do you have any? Are you still listening to any of your classic influences or any new music that the users would be surprised that you're listening to?
Well, yeah, because as a producer, because I took time away from performing to produce. You know, I told you I did Johannes, which was my first. Yeah, I did like 5 or 6 albums with him.
See the links down there,
right? Yeah, and then like I said, I did David Sanborn, I did Stanley Turrentine, Wonderland. Yeah, that album, the one that we did all Stevie tunes, and then there's a vocalist. You should know him, Will Downing.
I know the name.
But you got to check Will out.
Yeah.
Will is, his biggest influence is Luther.
Okay, nice, yeah.
But Will's voice is an octave lower.
Wow.
I mean, he can sing up there.
Yeah.
But man, when he...
Oh, nice, yeah.
And a friend of mine, an old A&R guy, said, hey, you guys need to get together and, do a project together. Yeah. So... the first thing I did, look for it. It's "Love's the Place to Be" is the first album I did with him, and we did, like six projects together, and then the last one we did was it was kind of to be a contemporary version of Hartman Coltrane.
Cool.
Okay, except it was Will, and then Gerald Albright. All right, so we did that kind of thing in a contemporary.
Nice,
we did a lot of it, like The Nearness of You, and oh my God, you'll be like, chills.
Cool.
And I always told Will he's not a scatter, but his sensibility. Okay, he's an R&B singer with jazz sensibilities.
Wow, yeah.
And he's a jazz singer with R&B.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he's very, very special, and he always liked the fact that I don't like to leave chords alone. I want to let's find something that kind of when you're playing a chord. And he said, make sure you give me some of them chords. He would always come in, whatever.
Yeah.
But so that kind of stuff, man, is what I was doing that. Now I don't listen to a lot of stuff, and I'll tell you why. I don't listen to a lot of stuff because I'm influenced very easy.
And then it
goes in my head, and if I like it, I go like, oh man, I want to do something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of takes you away from, But I remember like Take 6 on their that first record. I listened to that every day for 6 months.
Wow, yeah.
That stuff just blew me away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just, it's crazy. And I know that it was funny, but. So there's certain artists, but like you were talking about things I wouldn't do. Cheyenne is kind of like the Michael Jackson of the Latin world. And I got connected with Sony Latin America. I was producing first in Brazil, and then I got another deal with them in New York with Sony Latin America, right? So this kid was from Puerto Rico. Nice looking kid, and he was coming from, I can't even think of the group. was kind of like a menudo, but it was from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And so they asked me to do his first record, and this is, Latin pop, and yeah, they gave me the music. I did these arrangements and stuff, and it was, big hit. He's like, man, he is like the stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that started, and and people were like, wow, this is like really different for you, because it wasn't jazz or necessarily funk or anything. It was, pop.
Yeah.
And then did a lot of albums with him, and then I did this album with, you remember Living La Vida Loca?
Yeah.
Right? Well, one of the guys, Robbie Rosa, who wrote it, they asked me to produce him. And what he was kind of like a Latin Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, yeah?
Do you get what I mean? He was kind of into that thing, and that's a whole nother.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And so, people were like, oh, I didn't know you were. I said, well, it's music. Either it's good or it's not good, right? And I love all kinds of music. I produced Chet Atkins.
Oh, yeah? Nice, yeah. Like the finger pickers.
Yeah, all of it. But this was like a little bit more modern.
Oh, nice,
with him, and then, let me see, I was on, remember The Closer I Get to You?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Since. The Jacksons, Can You Feel It?
Cool.
The Dent.
Yeah.
That's me playing the bass part.
Yeah. You had a few connections with Jacksons, right?
Yeah, and with Michael too.
Yeah. So how did that start?
Oh, that was funny.
If you don't mind me asking,
no.
I find that so interesting.
Yeah, that's funny because we were in. I don't know if we were playing Royal Albert or whatever. I was with George, and we were staying at the Intercontinental in London. And
represent.
Represent. Yeah. And then. And congratulations today, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, so when we checked in, there was like this whole crowd of people standing out. Oh, found out the Jacksons were there. Okay. So anyway, I forgot exactly how we ran into each other. We ran into each other. And
so Jackson 5 here.
The Jackson 5 then,
yeah.
So Michael and Randy and I kind of hit it off, right? So Randy, Randy's the younger brother.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, yeah, man, you play keys, you got to show me something, And then George and Michael were, Jehovah's Witness. So they had a connection. So they came. We didn't
just the two of them? I thought they all were.
Oh, they were all there. But
I of course, exactly, just those two.
Yeah, we were hanging all the time.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I had a thing. I still have to find those pictures. There was a thing called a bullworker. It would look like a shock absorber. It was an isometric, and I used to carry it. It came with a little case, and I used to go and you hold it like this, and then you pull it like this.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of Randy and Michael trying to push this thing. They couldn't get it in. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we hung out, and it was funny because the Jacksons, right? So when Randy and I went out for lunch one day, we had to have the taxi come down in the garage, not in the front.
Of course, it should just be swamped. So.
Right? So the taxi comes down there, and we actually lay on the floor.
Oh, yeah, to get out,
come
to get
up,
past
and then we roll. I said, wow, you guys are crazy. So anyway, Michael said, okay, he says, man, here's my number, all this stuff. When you get back to the States, we want to invite you out to the house, and and all that stuff. So so when I go back, we started, they invited me over, we hung out, and and it was a funny thing that Michael did. We went there, and he had guard dogs, right? But he had them in cages, during the day. And he said, hey, Ronnie, let me show you this. I said, okay. So he goes up to the dog. Hey, Butchie. And the dog, like that.
Yeah.
And then he'd make her like that. And the dog, they're trained.
Yeah.
Negative. The dogs are. And then he goes, push the dog. And he said, Ronnie, isn't that funny?
So trained, yeah.
I said, yeah, as long as they're in that
Exactly,
cage. Yeah, but he was, normal. He's a big kid.
But was he as charismatic as he was in person?
Yeah. But he was. If he knows you, he's like us. Talk
exactly,
whatever, joke around, and if he doesn't know you,
then he's on his defenses up. Yeah,
you wouldn't even know he's in the room.
Yeah.
It was funny when we did. He heard one of my songs that was called "Sunset Driver," and he says, "Oh man, I'm going to put lyrics to that." And so we had got together.
Oh yeah.
And it was supposed to go on Bad. Then it was supposed to go on. It was supposed to go on Thriller, and then it was supposed to go on Bad. And then Bad is when him and Q got into that stuff. And so anyway, it came out later on a compilation.
Oh yeah, so it is out.
Yeah.
Links there.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we were at my apartment in L.A., and at the time, my girlfriend, it was a picture, she used to be a model, right? So at the time she was, and Michael goes, "Ronnie, who's that?" I said, "That's my girlfriend." He says, "Ooh, she's too pretty for you." You know what I mean? So anyway, later on we go in the studio to record the track, and she's sitting down at the other end of the console. I say, "Hey, sit way down," because he's, And so when Michael comes in, I said, "Oh, Michael," I said, "Remember that girl you said is too pretty for me?" I said, "There she is. That's Lynn." And he goes, "Hi, Lynn." And then I never looked at her again.
Oh, yeah?
Whole night. Yeah, but no, it was cool. Yeah, it was, a great experience.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But, what else?
Yeah. So then, so it was just going to be, what's your creative process of writing a song?
Right.
But then also, what's your creative process in terms of producing, and how do they differ?
Oh yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Writing for me is, it's not like I have a concept to write a song. I feel that the music is in the air, and then when the time comes, you sit down and something influences you. The rhythm or a chord, and then you build on that. Right. So that's my approach for writing. That's not true. One song, the song you hear on Will's record, "Love's the Place to Be," he said, "Man, can you write me a ballad that sounds like a standard?"
Okay, nice. So you came with the framework.
Yeah, so I had that framework, and then I kind of, now producing is a whole nother trick.
Yeah.
It's like babysitting.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're dealing with an artist, right? So my thing is I do this. If I'm working with an artist, I listen to everything they've ever done. And so I know.
Yeah, that's the starting point. You've
where,
got everything.
I know what they've done, and then my thing is to build the project around them. They're the nucleus. It's not like some of these producers do. They'll do a track and then they just pop a vocalist on it. It's not like that. I want to get
them involved. In the process.
What's driving you energy wise. So I bring the production around that. You know what I'm saying. So it's like when I did. When I did Dijon, it was funny because they sent me a 2-track of him just singing and playing guitar the songs. And this stuff was so amazing. I said, "Man, release that."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need to mess around with it.
Right, yeah. But anyway, they wanted
they
full
wanted
production. So, as I was listening to the sounds, and we had a mixture of American musicians, and then some tracks were Brazilian musicians. So it was a nice blend. And that record, Loose, became a historical record in Brazil. You know what I mean? And so it like I said, like David Sanborn, when I did, and this is funny because David laughed. He says, "Yeah, Ronnie, I want to do one of your tunes, man. Why don't you bring some tunes over?" And at that time, I carried a leather bag full of cassettes.
Cool, yeah.
So when we got there, and he said, "Oh, And then we went through and he says, "Oh, I like this, I like that." And then I know David. I know what and this energy. So we did this tune Summer, and he really he killed that thing too. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, you know what I mean. I mean, I even produced Jimmy.
Yeah.
One
Cool. Yeah.
one song. He said, "Ronnie, I want you to produce that."
But that's nice that you could just like give back a little bit.
Right.
For,
Right. Oh yeah. I was proud to do that.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So it's just, you know, you just, the music always tells you where you want to go, but from production, you got to look at the artist.
Yeah.
You know, the artist this is who they are. You know, either if they're not writing the stuff. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, well, it's still their baby.
How is it that it elevates you?
Yeah.
You know, and my other thing is, all right, say you're my artist, and you're hearing the project here. I'm hearing the project here.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? We'll take whatever you're thinking to the
and try to add to it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. I actually kind of miss it sometimes. You know?
Producing.
Yeah, it's a lot of headaches, you know, because
of course. Well, it's a different sort of headaches as well. It's not things that necessarily you can solve. You can help.
Right. But when you deal with stuff like, it was funny with Will. He got to know me so well because sometimes you can play tricks on your artist. You know, like say, "Oh yeah, that was a good take. Hey, let's keep moving." You know. And one time I did that to him. This is after we had worked for each other for a while. He says, "Okay, I know you didn't like it. Let's do it again." you know
he's picking up with those cues.
Picking up those cues and stuff. So yeah, you got to be a little. I had on one of Will's record, I had Marcus Miller play on this. I think I Can't Help It, Michael's tune, and I just kind of gave him an idea of what I wanted, and he says, "You, that's cool." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Now I got this other part," so I had him play two parts. He didn't know that I was hearing the second part in my head, so he was laughing. "Oh, tricky!" Yeah. So, it's good. It's one record I was doing with Will. It was, I got to get you that stuff, man. That's Everett Harp.
Yeah.
He came in and I said, "Yeah, I'm hearing alto on this," you know, and then he started playing, and he was kind of like bumping up in kind of the Sanborn area. So I said to myself, "Oh, you know, if I wanted David, I would have gone." You know, so I said, "Everett, did you bring your tenor? Oh, you're hearing tenor? Yeah, I think the tenor played the tenor was him." You know what I mean? That was So it was beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's fun. You know, music is great. You know?
What was the biggest challenge you faced to get here?
To get
to where you are now?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I was very, very fortunate to be in the right places at the right time, and you know, obviously, my career with George was a big, you know, put me on the map. You know what I mean? And you know, I wrote stuff for George and all that stuff. And then, you know, from that I went, you know, I left George after 15, 16 years, and then you know started doing that's when I was with Columbia. And wanted to get into that stuff. So I was doing that and writing, and then got into production, and then went back out. Then I was with Stevie for a while, and then I was with Lionel. You know,
cool,
yeah. So I was with Lionel, Stevie 3 years, and Lionel for 3 years. So, so I did all that. You know what I mean, all that stuff. But I just, you know, I was just very fortunate, and. You know, always doing music. I'm still writing, you know, because I'm getting ready to sign a major deal in the UK. By the way.
Cool, yeah.
I can't say yet who it is, but that's happening. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a trio record, and we're going to do a funk fusion record.
Cool.
You know. And then I can't tell you any more than that because
more to come.
More to come. But yeah, so I'm excited about that, and that's really going to be marketed for a European market.
Yeah.
You know, I mean it'll go overseas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because I mean the thing that I love about you know, when we came here last year, and even now, you know, people, they appreciate
Definitely,
what
yeah.
you're doing,
Mhm.
you know, because you're, as a musician, as an actor, as a comedian, whatever,
Mhm.
when you're standing on stage, you're naked.
Yeah, yeah,
You
of
know,
course,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, okay, here I am, you
Mhm.
know. So, yeah, like when we were in Paris in July,
Mhm.
we got like a 10-minute standing
Wow,
ovation
yeah.
at the end of
Mhm.
the show. And we're like, what?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. But they appreciate it.
Yeah,
And you know,
exactly,
because
yeah.
we are already, when we start,
Mhm.
we're at a high level.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
When we start, and then, you know, when people are going with you,
Mhm.
it takes us to,
Mhm.
you know, other places. But yeah, I mean, I'll never stop, you know,
Yeah, good.
until I can't.
Mhm.
You know.
So I'm sorry, but I think we've got to slowly wrap up.
Yeah, well, cool.
You got any messages for the fans? Where can they find your stuff? You got a website? You got
You know what? A lot of my stuff, I'm finding out now
Mhm.
that you could find a lot of my albums like on eBay and vinyl. And all
Yeah.
this. People always say, "Hey man, look what I just found." I go,
Cool,
I don't
yeah.
even have that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly,
I
yeah.
don't know where my stuff
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
but that will change with the new.
Mhm.
You know, we're going to have. I haven't been very diligent with, you know, because,
Finding where things are and
right,
get,
yeah,
like, yeah.
and doing that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, you go online and
Mhm.
any of the stuff, and then you can go on our at this point until the new
Yeah, until the new.
website comes
Mhm.
up after the first year. They can go on, you know, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Ronnie Foster Trio page.
Cool.
Da-da-da.
Links there.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of stuff on YouTube already.
Yeah.
You know, just
Mhm.
so. You know, another thing we should talk about is real quick.
Mhm.
I was very fortunate.
Mhm.
Mystic Brew, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tribe Called Quest.
Mhm.
J. Cole. So
Cool, yeah.
I'm thinking like, this is a song I wrote when
Mhm.
I was 18 years old
Yeah.
in Indianapolis, and
Mhm.
it's still
Still out there.
relevant
Yeah,
today.
that's,
you
yeah.
know? There was a concert that Janet Jackson was doing
Mhm.
somewhere, like a global world concert or whatever,
Mhm.
because somebody tagged me in the video, and all of a sudden she's singing,
Mhm.
right, you know, and then Q-Tip comes out
Wow.
from
Yeah.
Tribe,
Mhm.
and then they go into Mystic, you know, into
Mhm.
Electric Relaxation.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm freaking, I'm going, wow, that's
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, that's special. You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean? And then
Links to that concert here.
yeah. So yeah, and then, you know, J. Cole did it.
Yeah.
And he did it twice.
Oh yeah.
He did it on Forbidden Fruit,
Yeah.
and then on.
I love J. Cole. I've got to check those ones out.
Neighbors.
Yeah.
And what he did on Neighbors is he reversed it,
Mhm.
but he still gave me credit because
Cool. Yeah.
I would have never known.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's cool. But anyway, yeah, we
Yeah.
can, yeah. Hey,
Thanks
man,
for that,
no,
Ronnie.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Big up.
Yeah, big up.